And we are live! Welcome everybody. I know it's been a while, but we are getting back to working on Barbie's square dance dress. Let me spin you around and let's get started sewing. If you all do not have a walking foot on your machine, I highly recommend getting one. It's been a game changer for me. And what it's helpful for especially is sewing fabrics that are slippery, that tend to bunch up or kind of misbehave when you're sewing them. And I'm also finding that it's helpful for some of these skirt tiers that I'm going to be sewing today. They have a lot of gathering in them. And I think that the walking foot is going to make it such that the fabric's gonna behave a little bit better. Basically what a walking foot has is it's got teeth up underneath here. So you don't only have the feed dogs at the bottom, you've also got sort of these little teeth, which basically could also be called upper feed dogs, I guess. And those help move the fabric through. Now, this was just a little sleeve bit that I didn't finish sewing all the way, so I'm going to do this, and then we're going to sew a side seam, and then we're going to see what's next. I feel like this needle I have in here might be a little dull. Let's find out. I want this to be nice and lined up. Here we go. I didn't backstitch at the beginning, but do a little bit here. What needle do I have in here? I don't like it. I don't like it. Let me get my threads first. And I'm gonna change this needle here. Okay, this looks pretty good. We are sewing 1/4 inch seam allowances, so these guys are pretty tiny. And that looks well enough to me. Next, once I get my needles swapped out, we're going to be sewing up this side seam here. And that's just going to look kind of like this. Maybe needs to get gathered a little more. See, I get really into the details of these things, and because they're so tiny, the details are a little bit tricky sometimes. So here's how this guy looked. It came out pretty good, I think. There's the sleeve. Now what is going on here? This I'm not so sure is looking the way we want it to. And why not? Why isn't it? Okay, it seems like this is a little bit we want these two to line up. For whatever reason, this edge is a little bit thicker than that other one. It's not making me very happy. Well, let's see if this is going to work or not. And if not, because I've used the double mint gum approach, I have a second bodice that I had also been working on. Maybe I'll just sew those sleeves on. Hi! Welcome everybody. I'm so happy you're here. We're sewing Barbie a square dance dress. Now what the heck needle did I have in here? Okay, that explains it. I was using a 9014, which is usually fine, but I kind of feel like I want to try an 8012. Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. We're gonna just, do I have one over here? No, I do not. But you know what? In the interest of time, I'm just gonna keep in the same size needle. I'm just putting in a new one. And I'll take that one. It was feeling dull. So I'll take that one back out and get rid of it. When I finish up here. Okay. So this is something that is sometimes annoying to get a new needle in here. You need to have this flat edge facing to the back. I just have a little trouble with my fingers, and that is because my fingers are kind of lousy. Why is this being tricky right now? I can't understand what's going on. It's just like not. Oh shoot, hang on a sec. I don't know why this is being so problematic. Oh, you guys, I'm so embarrassed. I should have done this beforehand. That's what you get sometimes when you're sewing. You're like trying to change a needle for 10 minutes, and then you're like, well, what the heck was I even working on before this problem popped up? So I appreciate your patience. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. We're in there. Now I just gotta thread this bad boy, and then we'll get sewing again. So I do think that I'm gonna try. Okay, so here's a question. Anybody who's here, if you want to pop in the chat, do you sew Barbie doll clothes? And if you do you hand sew them or do you machine sew? Because it's my understanding a lot of people do hand sewing. And I've not tried that yet, but I'm curious if it might be less painful than what I've been doing with the machine. Because this can be tricky. It can be very tricky. So let me see here. I'm almost wondering if I don't want to use the walk-in foot for this, because I'm making Barbie doll clothes. I'll show you the image here. This is what we're making. This is a 1963 pattern by McCall's. It's 7137, licensed by Mattel. So we're making a cute little square dance dress for Barbie. And what I'm hoping to get to today, if this bodice ever behaves, we're gonna be gathering up this skirt and giving her a really pretty tiered skirt for her dress. All right, folks, so I'm gonna, do I want to change my foot? I kind of feel like I do. Ugh. So much planning and so much effort goes into these clothes, and it's just for a doll. It's like, what the heck? What the heck? Okay, so let's do this. Let's do it. I'm gonna change my foot after I was hyping up the walking foot. We're gonna be switching over to, I like this narrow straight stitch foot, and we'll see how this does for us. Now for these sleeves, I've got a bunch of pins in here, and I am just going to be sewing right over my pins. I know some folks don't recommend doing that, but we are going to do it that way. Okay, let me see if I can get this lined up a little bit better here. I think that looks good to me. Okay. All right, let's see what we can do. So let me get this thread under here. I'm on a stitch length of, what is my stitch length? I'm doing a stitch length of 10 right now. This will just be a straight stitch. I hope this is still lined up. Okay, y'all able to see okay? Tell me if that looks a little better there. I can get some better light on here as well. My fingers kind of get in the way, don't they? Okay, so let's just give this a go and see how we do. I am going to back stitch here at the beginning this time. This needle's better. I'm glad I switched it. Onward, onward, onward. This is a little bit of a curve here, so usually slower is better when you're dealing with curves. And I think I'm gonna hand crank here a few, because I'm just gonna angle this fabric, and here I'm gonna actually lift my presser foot up. Just really get that where I want it. Okay, let's keep going. Alright, I didn't backstitch at the end, I just went off the end, but I think I'm okay with that. How does this look? I think pretty good. Hi Michelle's Crafts and More, it's good to see you. Glad you could make it tonight. It's been forever, I know. I'm sorry to keep Barbie without an outfit for this long, but oh man, this seam allowance, I should have made it a little bit deeper because I can see my gathering stitch in there. I guess I'll pull that out later on. This looks pretty good though. I'm pretty happy with the craftsmanship on this side. So let's do this other side. All right. All right, all right, all right. Oh, I'm so excited. When a seam comes out nice, it's just like, especially, I haven't sewed in a while. This is the first time I've sewn in probably like, well, that's not entirely true. So this is so cool. I don't have it here to show you guys, but I love fringe, and I love fringe on a jeans jacket. So about a week ago, it was a couple weeks ago now, I hadn't made anything in Me Made May. I tried, it was my intention, but May ended up being a really crazy month for me. So for Me Made May, on May 31st, I was like, I gotta make something. And I kind of compromised, and I used fabric glue, mostly, to attach some amazing gold fringe down the sleeves and on like the back yoke part of a thrifted jeans jacket. And it is freaking amazing. I did end up, the only sewing I did on it was I used some like yellow thread to kind of, I didn't have gold thread. I was like, this is close enough. But I used some yellow thread to just kind of attach the fringe a little bit better. So that was my sewing in May. And is this the first time I'm sewing this month? I think it is. I think it is. So I'm not that rusty, which is good, but it feels good to get back at a machine, I'll tell you that. All right, so let me I'm gonna just hand crank a couple of back stitches in here. I feel like I'm not very well lined up with how I pinned this on, so I'm a little bit concerned about that, but let's just go nice and slow and see how this turns out. I'm almost, I feel like I continue to make my seam allowances a little bit too scant, I think. Okay, so this is going all right. Let's go a little bit faster and further. Got so many loose threads. Okay, I'm happy enough with that. Let's pivot here. All right, now this guy, I just really need to line up that edge, and let's hand crank some more because I'm feeling a little bit nervous. I just want to get this right and move on to the skirt. Hi Harley, I am making a square dance dress for a Barbie doll. This is a vintage pattern from 1963, and I've been working on it for quite a while now. It's my first time making any doll clothes, and I'm here sewing on my Singer Stylist 457. This is a vintage Singer machine. She is she's from 1950, no, she's from 1962, this machine. And she knows what she's doing a lot better than I do, but we're figuring it out together. So let's get these pins out of here and see how this other sleeve looks. And then maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to sew up our side seams. Oh, this looks so good. Can y'all see this? Still, again, we've got a lot of these loose gathering stitches. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to, of course, put our right sides together, and we're gonna line these puppies up, line up our notches on the side seams, and we're just gonna sew down along there. Oh, this is so exciting. This is so exciting. So I was watching one of my older videos and I realized like I was having some trouble with the fabric not feeding through, and I'm like, what is going on here? And I realized I was doing something a little foolish, which is I was putting my fabric this way under the machine, and I'll tell you why that wasn't working, and I'll show you too. Sorry, I was out of screen there. This tiny little thing here, it's too narrow, so I wasn't getting any like grip on there. So the key is you need to make sure that the fabric is actually on this side, even though that's a little tricky sometimes. And then you're actually getting this and this here, so you're able to get some grip on the fabric and you're actually able to sew it then. So I think I'm going to start from this end, and I kind of, maybe I'll throw a pin, one pin in here just to hold things together a little bit right here at this armpit area. I think that's a good idea. Now, it might be helpful if I press these seam allowances open, but let's not. That's too much attention to detail. I can't handle it. Okay, so let's get this sewn up and then we'll do the other side. Here we go. Backstitch. And let's go. My tension's a little bit. Okay, this I'm gonna hand crank because we're doing quite a, it's like almost a 90-degree turn here. My pin's causing some problems, but I think we're okay. Get through the end there, and now see if I can get this fabric to feed back through for some back stitches. I think that's going to be good enough. Let's take a peek. I'll tell you what, if you want to level up your sewing game, try sewing something really tiny, because it's a whole other set of skills, I think. This looks good to me. Now let's do the other side. Just doing the same exact thing here where we've got our notches lined up. And I liked how that pinning in the armpit worked, so I'm gonna do that again here. This one, I almost feel like I could use 2 pins. One of the fabric pieces seems it's like almost, how do I describe it? It almost feels like it's kind of like pulling away. Or it almost feels like it's like skewed somehow. Let me get this nice here. It's so important when you're doing these really delicate projects to cut your fabric and mark your fabric and just do everything as precisely as you can. So that's what my goal is. Okay, get that thread under there, and let's sew this other side seam. It's amazing how long these things take. It's just like, yeah, that's just a little bit off, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I do wish that I could get a little closer to these edges here without the fabric getting stuck underneath. I may have gone one further than I should have. Okay, that is okay. I like this. All right, let's start sewing. And we're coming up to this curve, so I'll hand crank. I hope I'm still lined up here at the bottom of the sleeve. I think it looks okay. Put that over there. And can I do one more and then back stitch? Yeah, let's try that. Okay. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see how this looks. And then we're gonna add the skirt. Actually, wait a minute. Are we doing the skirt next, or are we doing buttons next on the back? That's a good question. Okay. Get this needle out and we'll take a look. Oh my gosh, these are the tiniest sleeves in the world. I can't even get my thumb through there. Look at how cute. Look at how cute. Okay. My fingers are very fumbly because I'm starting to get tired. Let's see how this, oh my goodness, you guys. So let me get you over here. We'll just get a little bit, oh, there's Barbie's shoes. We also need to make her a pair of cowboy boots because she can't wear these purple club-in shoes with this vintage square dancing dress, can she? Alrighty, so now this is going to be the back. And what we're going to be doing back here, I believe, is we're going to fold this under, and then we're going to be sewing in some snaps. But I don't think we're doing that next. So let's get a look at our instructions here. Are you able to see? Not really. Let me take a look here. So we just did the underarm seams. Now we're going to do this waistline seam, right? So it says gather the upper edge of the skirt along the lines indicated. And this is going to be this, this is the upper tier of the skirt. So I had previously attached this really pretty lace here. So this is the top tier of the skirt attaching to the bodice. Gather upper edge of skirt, turn under a 1/4 inch seam allowance on lower edge of bodice. Turn under a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Pin and then top stitch. I'm not quite sure why we're doing that. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a brain fart. Let me think about this. So first I know we need to gather the skirt, and let me find the pattern piece for this, because I think that's going to tell us how much we have to gather it. I hope it is anyway. So this is the, oh boy, am I missing a pattern piece? Oh my gosh, I think I might be missing a pattern piece, unless it just fell on the floor. Oh no. Did it fall behind my sewing desk? I apologize, you guys. This is, it's not too exciting, is it? Oh my gosh, what do you do when you lose a pattern piece? What do we do? What do we do? So this is what I'm looking at. And this is not it. This is not it. This is the long one because this said center front place unfold. So that's this guy. And that's going to be the bottom tier. But where the heck did the pattern piece go for this? I don't know. But let's actually take a look at this because this would also be gathered. And it doesn't look like it's telling us. It just says gather along these lines. It's not telling us how much to actually gather it. So that's somewhat not helpful. For the sleeve pattern piece, it specifically said gather into 1 1/8 inch, and I found that very helpful. So that's what I was hoping to see for the skirt, but no luck. So now this is like, what are we starting with here? We're starting with, I'm gonna measure this bodice and see. I should trim all these threads too, otherwise they're gonna make me bonkers. Okay, so if we try to measure this out, it's about 4 1/4 inches. And I am gonna cut these threads because this is just gonna be a disaster if I don't. A disaster! We're not gonna have one of them today. Okay. There's a lot of threads in here. My goodness. All these gathering stitches on these tiny little sleeves are just like, we got thread everywhere. Okay, this looks, whoops, what is this guy? Get rid of that. I don't even know where that came from. Okay. So I said what, 4 1/4? And this is, I don't know what they said about folding it. It sounds like they said turn under 1/4 inch seam allowance on the lower edge of the bodice. So it sounds like what they want us to do is this. Turn it under. And I'm not sure why they want us to do that. Well, it says clip around the curves and baste. What? There's not really any curves on here, right? I'm not really seeing any. But I feel like we should just kind of do what they're telling us to do, huh? So then it says pin and then top stitch the bodice to the skirt. So first what we're gonna have to do, and I've only put one gathering stitch in here, and that may end up being a bad thing. I think it might be better if well, maybe it'll be okay. So the risk with one basting stitch in here is that this thread could pull, and then I'd just have to like redo everything basically. But so far it looks like it's going okay. As long as I'm just kind of gentle and not going too fast. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Look at how cute this is gonna be. Okay, so let me get some eyes on here. We're gonna have to, well here, what did I say? 4 1/4, right? Yeah, let's just, well, wait, is this a little longer than that? Oh my gosh, why am I getting a completely different measurement than I did the first time? I'm getting 4 3/4. What happened? Why did that change? That's really bizarre. Oh, now I'm getting 4 1/4. Let's stick with 4 1/4. Now this is going to be like really hard to measure. I have to get it gathered evenly as I can the whole way through here. Now, how do I even measure this? This is so confusing. All right, so if we've got a quarter, 4 1/4 right there, this is actually a little bit over gathered then. Let me see. Well, here, that isn't very even. I'm just pulling it out a little bit further. Okay. Let's see how this is. It's very hard. I should probably be using a tape measure instead of a ruler. You know what? I'm pretty good with this. These little bits here at the end are going to be the tricky ones. And then I think what I'm going to do is just tie a knot here and hold it. Because otherwise it's going to keep pulling out, I think. Oh my goodness. Where are all these threads coming from? Okay. Let's stick with that. Oof. Tying knots is hard work. Okay, and now this side, we're going to also just tie this up here. Oh my god, this is going to be just the most adorable outfit for Barbie. I'm so excited. This red gingham fabric, it actually just came, it was like the trim on a sheet set that I picked up at Walmart on clearance from the Pioneer Woman. And I think it's like the perfect fabric for this dress. So country and so cute. All right, so what is this whole thing? Oh, so is this why? Like, how is this going to go? We are obviously going to want to have, well, maybe not obviously. Ordinarily, we would be sewing it like this, correct? All these gathers are just going to be so annoying, I think, to work with. This is what it's going to be looking like when it's actually a circle skirt. Like, that's going to look pretty freaking adorable. But ordinarily, like, so how do I put this? Gathers for a person's skirt are like the same size, if you will. Like, you can't make gathers and you can't make fabric gather on like a smaller scale. Is that, it's a little hard to describe what I'm trying to convey here. But like, if you had this on, you know, obviously if it was like a human-sized skirt, it would fall and it would look a lot different than it is when you just have this tiny little thing that's going to be going around a doll's waist. Oh my gosh, this is just too freaking cute. Okay, here's our circle skirt and here's our bodice. So I wish I had marked center front, but oh, I did mark it. It's down here, so that's at least a little bit helpful. So this is center front here. So we're going to do right sides together, and that means it's going to go like this. Those are our center fronts right there. And now I have to think long and hard about whether or not I'm going to do this thing folding under this and then top stitching. Like, what does that look like? I don't personally like how it looks, but I guess the point of the top stitching is to help it lay a little bit flatter. It's just being done differently than it would be on a human skirt. So maybe there's a reason for that, and maybe I should follow what they're telling me to do, but I kind of don't want to. Is that bad? Is that bad? I don't know. Okay, so I do have this pretty well lined up over here. That's good news. Get a pin in here. I'm just going to baste this though. If you're not familiar, basting stitch just means I'm putting my stitch length to the longest possible setting. This actually looks like it's going to be pretty good. You guys, we're going to have, oh my gosh, after this gets sewn on, we're going to have a bodice and a skirt. And it's going to be a cute little mini skirt right now because it's just the one tier so far. And that is going to be so flippin' adorable. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So I'm a little bit worried. I don't want like all this part to be ungathered at the end here. Oh shoot, somehow my knot on this side came undone. Oh, come on. That's frustrating and annoying. Oh, I guess I didn't do my gathering stitches far enough on this side. It's also frustrating and annoying. I kind of get frustrated and annoyed when I'm tired. I'm getting tired. But I really want to finish this. I really, really, really want to finish this. Why? I'm really upset with myself right now. Somehow those gathering stitches got pulled out because the knot came undone. And now I'm like trying to fix it and it's not easy to fix. And I'm definitely not gonna say I'm definitely not gonna regather it. I'm gonna say that I really don't want to regather anything because I just don't want to. Worst case, I can always cut some of the skirt, right? It just won't be as full. Yeah, that would be fine, I think. Okay, so maybe what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna like pin this here, right here, and then I'm going to I'm just gonna cut this part off, I think, because, well, unless I can kind of crinkle it under. Maybe I can do that. There, I'll do that. I just kind of crinkled it, guys. That's called the authentic crinkle stitch, and I just invented it today. Okay. So when we gather, I'm trying to remember. I think that the bunchy side goes toward the bottom. Is that correct? Does anybody... Oh boy, this is really messed up over here. Actually, look at this. Like, that's not gonna look good. I gotta even this out a little bit, at least. It's like way over gathered, in my opinion. Oh my goodness. Alright, so basically this is not going to be perfect. And that's, I think, fine by me. What can I do though? Oh my gosh, I feel like all my pins are coming out. Can you believe I've been pinning this skirt for about 8 minutes? I'm so happy you guys are here today watching this on a Saturday night. Thank you for joining me. And I'm just gonna try to get one more pin in here the best I can. Right there, I think. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is going to be interesting. I think I'm ready to sew. And after that, I'm probably gonna have a drink and see if Barbie wants to try on her dress. Oh my goodness. Here, let me get you so you can see better. How is that? And I'm sorry, the lighting just is not cooperating tonight very well. Everything looks yellow, doesn't it? I don't like that. I like the bright light of those, like the white bluish lights, you know what I mean? Okay, here we go. Let's start sewing. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is just a gathering stitch, and am I going to back stitch? Yeah, I am going to back stitch. Because if I end up having to pick this out, I want to make it super challenging and frustrating instead of just a little bit challenging and frustrating. Who am I kidding, you guys? I'm doing awesome. I'm never going to have to unpick anything, right? We're just going to like fly right through this. So when I'm working on this, right, I'm doing the best I can to try to get the skirt to like pull out straight and down. And I'm, of course, going to try to keep my seams lined up. And none of this is that easy. All right, let's go do a few stitches. Okay, I think that went well enough. So now we're getting like bunchy and stuff under here, which we don't want. So let me try to work this out a little bit. This is so difficult with such small garments. Do any of you sew baby clothes? Or is everyone here doll sewing enthusiasts? Because I feel like there needs to be a middle ground. Like, this is just so impossibly tiny. This is going to be problematic here. I can tell these gathers are just probably not going to turn out as nice as I'd like them to, but we're going to do our best here. Okay, let's keep going. And then I'm going to stop right about here. Oh boy, this is going to be trouble. I can feel it under here. It's so lumpy. Michelle's Crafts and More says she tried clothes and failed big time. Oh, you're doing quilting. That's exciting. And thank you for the reminder. Don't worry about mistakes, because even the store-bought doll clothes aren't perfect. And this is the truth. Here we go. Uh-oh, I'm stuck on a needle. Let's see if I can get this out of here. Whew, close call. Okay, let me see if I can keep going. Ugh, maybe I'm stuck on more than a needle. Let's see if we can do it like this. Oh no, what's going on here? What is going on here? I think I've got a big lump of fabric under there, and that is not really ideal, is it? I don't know if I can get over this hump. Oh, there we go. I did it. Okay. So let's finish this up. It doesn't look too bad. Okay. Okay. I think we're good. I didn't backstitch, and I don't really care. I'm going to cut this here. And oh my gosh. Let me get these pins out, and I'm not sure if I feel like I'm being very aggressive about trying to get these scant 1/4 inch seam allowances, because I feel like every time I do it, my flippin' gathering stitches end up being visible on the other side. Oh my gosh. This looks good enough to me. This looks good enough. It actually looks really good, I think. Look it. So this will look a little better if I press it. But so we definitely do need to top. Oh my gosh, look at how tiny this seam allowance is. Like, I understand now why they wanted it pushed over first, because this is just, frankly, it's not really enough to even top stitch, in my opinion. I mean, I can try it, but it's not going to be easy, I don't think. Wow. All right, folks, I really hate to do this, but I am out of steam. And once again, I didn't get as far into this as I was hoping I would, but we made some great progress. We've got a couple little sleeves, we've got a skirt, and next what we're going to do is attach the bottom tier. Oh my gosh, look at how cute this is going to be. We're going to attach the bottom tier, and then we're going to be sewing up the back seam, putting in our snaps, and Barbie's gonna go to the square dance. We'll work on some boots for her too. Bye everybody, thanks for watching, and I wish you very happy crafting, happy sewing, and happy creating. Bye bye.